And I've just hit the go button. Whee! And I'm... Good morning, everyone, or happy time zone, depending where you are in the world. I'm Lucky Number 7, and welcome to the Live Coders again, as always. We're a little bit later than our normal Live Coders interview. It is 10 a.m. my time instead of 8 p.m. Well, sorry, 9 p.m. You know, time zones. What an issue. So this week we have got MishManners, and she's over in Australia. So we decided to push the time a little bit. To make sure everyone's happy with not waking up at 5 a.m, 6 a.m, even 2 a.m, just to do an interview with me, which is not usually a good thing. So, shall we move quickly on and welcome everyone, as always. Let me just get everything quickly set up, and we'll introduce Michelle Mannering. So, good morning.
Morning, how are you? It's evening where I am, but I'll say good morning for all those who are tuning in for the morning.
So, you're a live coder, you do live streaming, you are an employee somewhere, and you generally do stuff during the day. So, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I like it. I'm an employee somewhere. It's a good place to be somewhere, right? Yeah, a little bit about myself. I grew up in country town. Was really fun, exciting, very different though. When people hear that I'm from the country, like, oh yeah, how different is it? I'm like, it's so different. Like, you know, my school had 39 people in my year 12 year. It was like, you know, it was just so different. Like in the country, you grow up there, you go to school there, you stay there. The fact that I'm like not there is very weird for a lot of people. But I moved to the big smoke, we call it, Melbourne. Having traveled all around the world, I now realize Melbourne is not really the big smoke, and there are other big smoke places around the world. But I moved to Melbourne for uni, did a Bachelor of Science, majored in chemistry, did a Master of Media and Comms, started working in the startup-y, innovation, corporate kind of sector. got really involved in gaming throughout uni, and kind of just all went on from there. I got involved in startups. I started my own startup. Got really involved in running hackathons. That's where my hackathon queen title comes from. And yeah, just do some really cool things. And one day someone was like, "Hey Mish, you should really start streaming." I'm like, okay, let's start streaming. It was kind of like one of those things. Like we were playing Overwatch, and everyone would always die. Whenever they die, they would come and watch my kill cam and just listen to me. And I'm like, what are you doing? They're like, "You're funny. This is great. You just like comment on every little thing that's going on, so you should stream." I was like, okay. I mean, I'm clearly not shy of the camera, right? So I was like, it sounds like the right kind of thing to do. And I like playing games, so why not let other people join in and play games? So yeah, I started streaming a couple of years ago, and yeah, I've been really, really enjoying it the whole time.
Right, I'm gonna take it all the way back to the start again. So rewind. Right, let's go back to the
rewind.
So yeah, growing up in the country, I sort of know that as well. So my secondary school, which is sort of from the age of 11 to 16, had 250 total.
Yep, that's similar to ours.
About the sort of similar numbers. And primary school, which was between some age 5 and
some age
5 and sort of 10, 11. My year was 6. So a really small school. The whole school was 60 kids as a primary school. So yeah, I understand where that sort of countryside going to the big city really comes in, and you sort of feel out you sort of feel out of your depth. So I've lived like near London, which is massive as a city, and yeah, it's just crazy to think that you were like grown up when you knew everyone around you, and now
I know, right? And like you'd walk down the street and you'd wave to people and they'd wave back, even if you didn't like, because the town that's near where I am is slightly bigger, like probably about like in the 60,000 people. So even though you didn't quite know everyone, you still like kind of knew them. So you'd wave to people and like you'd say hi. And when I came to Melbourne, I'm like, why is no one waving at each other? Why is no one saying hello?
And you wave and say hello, and they look at you weird. They're like, oh.
Yeah, like I do that now. So sometimes I'm just like, hey, how are you going? And people are like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm saying hi. Like, is that not a thing? Like,
so you went into a chemistry background and then did masters in media management, was it?
Masters in media and comms, yeah.
Media and comms. A bit of a mix there.
Okay, there's a reason for that. So when I was younger, when I was growing up, I did like everything at school that was available to us. Again, being from a small school, most things aren't available to you. So I liked both sides of the spectrum. Like we were lucky enough to have a Lego class, so I liked Lego classes, but I also liked the food and cooking classes. I liked maths, but I also liked English, and I liked geography and history, but I also like, the hardcore sciences, and I also like, making things and doing woodwork and all these kind of things. And so I remember saying to my parents, like when I was quite young, like, how am I ever going to find a job that allows me to do like all these things? or that like is like multidisciplinary or something where I'm like not going to get bored, or that is like useful for all my skill set. And I kind of realized that eventually, I mean, if you look at it now, it makes a lot of sense. Like, I just made my own job. And, so many people now are like, woohoo, multidisciplinary things are like all the go. And I'm like, I did it before. It was cool, everyone.
Yeah.
But also, like, one of the main reasons I chose to go to Melbourne University, which is one of the main unis here in Melbourne / Australia, was because I had the option of doing what they call the Melbourne model. So even though I did like a chemistry major, I also did computer science, which is where I learned a bit of coding. Not much, so we can talk about that soon. I also did engineering, psychology, mathematics. I got a equivalent double major in geology, and we also did like fluid mechanics and all these other kind of sciences as well. So I did like all the sciences except biology. I don't like biology. I wanted to do physics, but I couldn't fit it in. And then we also have this amazing option of 25% of your course is breadth studies. So you do something completely outside your discipline. So I did media studies. So we got to like watch movies and like TV shows and write articles and stuff. And then I also did ancient history because it was something I really wanted to do at school, like high school. And we never got the chance to do it. So I did, science with breadth in media and ancient history. And that's why when I finished, again, I love doing science. I like doing experiments, but I knew I didn't want to be stuck in a lab. So like the things that I really liked about science was doing the thing and then telling everyone about it. Like I really excelled at all the written reports. I basically got like, high distinctions on all my written reports. So I was like, clearly I'm good at talking about the thing. And that's what I want to do. That's why I did a Masters of Media and Comms when I was finished, because I was like, I want to combine the two. And I did.
Wow, just everything, just those. Because I did the traditional do school, go to university, fail university, going to get a job, and basically that's been me. And it's good to see how, because I've got a lot of friends that didn't do degrees at all and were self-taught. I've got lots of friends that sort of do other things and just sort of went into apprenticeships and went that route. Mm-hmm. It's really interesting to see somebody who just went, I'm going to do everything. And if I can't fit it in, I'll fit it in sometime eventually. And it's really interesting to sort of see that mindset, because it's something that you don't see a lot of, and you still don't see a lot of. Because,
especially coming from the country, like you said, everyone who I went to school with, apart from a couple, my year was very different to a lot of other years at school, but nearly everyone across the school, like when you finish school, you go out, you either go back to the family farm, you become a doctor or a lawyer, a teacher, or an apprentice, so hairdresser or tradie. And those are pretty much all your options. And I'm like, I don't know any of those things.
and I'm guessing most of them actually still live around that local area. And
totally. I mean, there's a few that don't. Like I said, my year was a little bit of an outlier compared to a lot of the other years at school. But yeah, you're right. Now everyone is married there, got kids there, established it. Like, now as I said to people, like, there is nothing wrong with that at all. Like, 100%. It's amazing. It's awesome. But that's just not what I want.
Yes,
that wasn't what I was going to do. So, yeah.
So from there, you as you said, you went into startups, did a few, joined a few startups, did some stuff there, then did your own, got into a load of hackathons. So what do you do now? Where do you work? How do you earn that? How do you earn that dollar, as it were?
Yeah, so I work for GitHub, which is really fun and cool. So I am the developer community manager at GitHub. I'm working on some really cool programs at the moment, actually. One of them being hackathons. So it's cool when some people at GitHub are like, oh, we poached Mish from her own hackathon thing. Now she's doing more hackathons. So I was like, cool, I could continue that, which is amazing. And we get to do so many other cool things in the developer ecosystem. Unfortunately, we can't travel now, but we're working on cool things. We get to do cool things. And it's really fun. Like, we hosted our GitHub Satellite recently, so I got to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And we do so much cool stuff on that front. So that's one thing I do. That's my day job. And then I run an electric scooter company. So there's a bunch of my viewers know about that one. So I have a scooter company with a couple other guys, Australian-based. It's really awesome. It's fun, exciting. Top speed of 40 kilometers and nice long range on it. And like basically one of those stand scooters, but electric, so for commuting. Not old people scooters, not Vespa sit-on-ride scooters, like, those the fun ones. So that's what we call it. And when people see it, they go, wow, damn, these things look good. I'm like, yeah, they do. So I do that, and then I obviously get to do a lot in the gaming sector. So I get to stream a lot. I'm also a journalist over at Daily Esports, so I do news, reviews, and things like that. Cover a lot of the Australian content, put a bit of a spotlight on Australia. And just get involved that way. So still get to run my hackathons and be part of the community.
Yeah. So Yeah, I do not nip into your streams every now and again because you seem to be streaming when I've just like started work in the morning, and I sort of just have you on in the background.
For the non-Aussies, yeah, it's pretty much when everyone starts work.
Yeah, or you're getting, because when I stream, it's usually Moody getting up in New Zealand, and it's just like he goes, just got up, just gonna watch you before going to work, and I'm like, right, fair enough.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, there was a question in chat. I'll get to that in a minute. Thanks, Ed. But you then got in. Do you do much live coding at all, or any coding?
Yeah, I do. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I joined. Like, it's really interesting actually when I put up, because I put up posts every time I go live. And someone yesterday, when I put up my post, was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. One day, the days are all blowing together in ISO. I started doing some Ruby programming yesterday. Someone was like, "How do you work at GitHub and you're only just starting programming now?" I'm like, "Okay, look at my title. I'm the developer community manager. It means that I'm not on the engineering team. I don't have to code for my job, right? But you know, I did a little bit at uni. Uni didn't really teach you anything, but I really wanted to do more coding, and being in ISO is like the perfect time to learn. So I've been doing lots of live coding on my streams. I do it at least twice a week during the day for Australian time, which is when a lot of the Americans can come in because it's just as they're like finishing up for the day, which is awesome. So I've been doing Python, JavaScript, started Ruby yesterday, which I'm loving. I like the Englishness of Ruby, if you will. Started some C# on Unity as well, and yeah, just been having a bit of fun, learning a bunch of stuff, and yeah, massive shout out to not just the live coders, but other people who have like jumped into my streams and helped me out. I'm very much a give me all your ideas and things. I don't mind the whole backseat gaming or backseat programming, you know, tell me what I'm doing wrong or whatever. It's been really fun, and through that, and one of the main reasons why I wanted to do it while I was like learn coding while I was live, and I've been very clear and open and honest about this, is like, you know, I'm not a top coder. Don't come in here expecting to see, you know, the most amazing code ever, but you know, we're all here to learn. And through that whole process, so many people have either told me in my chats or have DM'd me afterwards on various platforms, being like, you've really inspired me, and we've been like coding along with you. So that's been really amazing just to see people like jump on and like, you know, someone, you know, basically just showing that like it's not that hard to do, and if you want to do something you can. And the fact that there's like, it feels like you're almost like in a classroom, because it, you know, we're ISO, can't do much, but like feels like we're all together doing this and learning together, and it's been really, really fun. I absolutely love it. So yeah.
Exactly. So I mean, with everything, because again, live coders has been pretty much about sort of learning, teaching communities, getting, and also bringing, well, it's heading towards 190 very quickly.
Yeah, I know, right?
Nearly 200
growing
people
so quickly.
And those 200 people are a massive resource for each other, not just in the coding sphere, but just
outside as well.
Streaming, the outside, just we're starting to. So there's a new application process as well. So this is something that's coming up soon. It shouldn't be. It should be all right. Sorry, not so simple. Just turn it up. Gain. Or Mish. No, it's just Mish is too loud. That's what it is.
I'm just too loud and overpowering. Also, hi to all the chat. I know I've got a lot of my regular viewers here. I usually start streaming about an hour's time from now, so a lot of my regular viewers are here. So hey to all you, and also shout out to the new Aussies that I'm meeting for the first time. Yay, Aussie represent.
So this is the whole point, and we're moving towards what is it? We're going collaborative, and the application process I was going on about. So yes. What we're doing is we are moving towards a more mentorship and nurturing type approach. So we have our sort of restrictions on, oh, you've got to be an affiliate and you've got to have a sort of an average view account and all this sort of stuff just to get going. just to be in the team. But if you don't hit that, what we're doing is we're putting you in a nurture pile now.
So it's like a pre-program, which is, it's actually cool. I love that idea because a lot of accelerator programs actually do that. So if it's like, you know, what do you do with all the startups who aren't at the startup stage and can't get investment because they're too young? You know, is there a pre-program for them? So I'm really excited to hear that that's what we're doing, because there's a lot of people in that, like, that bucket that are like almost there, but yeah, need that little bit of nurturing or help and support to get there.
Exactly, and if we can help them, as I mean, they're doing some really good projects. I mean, one of them I saw the other day. He's got Alexa controlling Dark Souls.
That's awesome. I was gonna say, like, this is a funny thing, right? Like, a lot of these people, I'm like, yes, I'll come and mentor you about streaming. You come mentor me about coding, because like so many people are doing such cool things, and this is like touching back on that community stuff, right? I love seeing what our community actually builds. Like, you know, Talk to Me Gooseman literally just built that extension. Was it like last week, or like at least just showed it off last week, where you can have subtitles on your stream basically for like whatever. And I'm like, this is so cool. And like I had people even, you know, within GitHub and within my other like community teams, community stream teams being like, yeah, it'd be cool to have like, you know, subtitles. Like, someone built it.
Yeah,
and then here it is. And like, it's just like, it's so cool that we can just like build this stuff. And I was saying to someone recently too, like, coders definitely have the potential, if not they're already there, to have some of the best live streams, because they can program anything they want, right?
It's not a question of is it possible, it's a question of how long it's going to take.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's exactly the point. I think the closed caption one that you're talking about, Eric and Talk to Me Gooseman, he did that middle of 2019, I think, or start of 2019.
And he just promoted it and said that like now you could, like, I know that like Glenn's pointed out too, or Graham, saying subtitles is natively supported by Twitch, but like his extension, like Talk to Me Gooseman's extension, allows you to choose like your language, but then like your area. So I can choose like English, Australian, and then it'll pick up my accent a lot better. And someone else can choose like English American or English, like, you know, Britain or British, and it's
and that's not just from the broadcaster side. He's even got options on there that you can pay for translations, so the viewer can translate it straight into German or straight into French or something similar. And it's
exactly.
really
and that's
good.
The thing, because we're talking about like, how do we become more accessible and how do we open up some of our things to broader audiences? And I was like, well, this plugin allows you to choose your own language and will like translate you for that language. So it's not just about being closed caption and being open for like people with, say, disabilities. Or even someone pointed out the other day, even like half my viewers wanted it because they all put me up and, you know, on their second screen while they're at work, and they obviously don't want my audio on, they just want to see me. And it's like, if I can have the subtitles, I can just read it. I was like, wow, this is so smart.
Moody, there was a whole thing where her jersey got sent straight from the factory or something, and
I don't know how, but my jersey came like a while ago. I tweeted it actually when it came, and everyone's like, whoa. Even Fritz was like, wow, that literally came in like 2 days. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I sent it like 2 days ago. Because I've got two. I've got this one, and I've got the 2019 one, which was the big celebration. Thank you. And again, massive thank you to the live coders and to Fritz and everyone else who participated. It was a thank you for, we raised over $1,000. We ended up hitting over 2,000 eventually, USD for the St. Jude charity drive. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Does that mean transcripts for streams is now a thing? It's possible. You can do it. You can get transcripts for your stream, and it does work.
Yep.
And why is that?
Diana saying, Australia is obviously closer to the factory.
Obviously. So
I didn't bribe anyone. There's no bribes here. Don't worry, Sad Moody. Like, if you check Twitter, a lot of people are getting their like live coders care packages right now. I haven't got mine yet, but I'm very excited. They look amazing.
They are. They do really
I'm
look...
trying not to look at them because I don't want all the spoilers.
It's a glitch in shipping. Yes, definitely a glitch in shipping. We'll just leave it at that. So yeah, coding, gaming, esports, everything like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask, do you have any hobbies on the side? But
yes, I do. I actually do have quite a lot of hobbies. I did tweet this out earlier today, but usually it was a tradition in GitHub that for your anniversary, you usually get like a gift or a present. There's a couple of reasons why I didn't quite get one. One is most of my team is newer than I am. And two, which is the main reason, we're in ISO. So I bought myself a gift. This is definitely one of my hobbies, is Lego. And you won't see the green because of the green screen, but I did buy myself some Lego for my anniversary, but also for ISO because we've just gone back into lockdown here in Melbourne. So I like Lego. I do puzzles. I like cooking. I'm also into sport and outdoors. So I'm a bit salty that we're going to ISO because I was super planning some snowboarding trips. So snowboarding in the winter, wakeboarding in the summer. I play a lot of sport as well. I play Quidditch. So if you haven't ever seen or heard of real life Quidditch, head on over to my Discord. I've got heaps of videos there, but also just like literally YouTube, like Quidditch World Cup. It's a thing. Australia has been on the top for the last very many years. So, yep, Quidditch is a thing. I also play touch football, AFL, which is Australian rules football. I play soccer, so the international football, squash, tennis, basketball, and netball as well. So obviously not much of it now in ISO, but yeah.
So on that note, where do you find the energy? Seriously.
People have said that.
I'm guessing no kids, because that would take up a lot of your time and energy. But yeah, it's wow. I can't say much about it.
I like making things too. I'm very much into making stuff. So if anyone ever is following me on Instagram, MishManners, you'll see a lot of my stories of me either cooking and trying to make food that I can eat because I have a bunch of allergies, or just building random things. So I've been building, we built an RC car a couple of months ago. So I've been fixing and building that, hopefully to race at some point. And then just other random building projects. I am a massive fan of anime and obviously a gamer. So I nearly always have a cosplay project or two on the side as well.
Wow. Okay. We've gone through quite a bit of our stuff. Well, Aussies speak fast, so do the Brit. Sort of we don't mess around. We get everything out there, and there we go, done. Isolation. Yes, you. Australia. Well,
Melbourne.
Melbourne. Is it just the state that's got?
It's just metropolitan Melbourne. They've kind of ring fenced like the city and one of the Shire areas, which is
the Shires. That's a whole different
Shire,
book.
I know. Actually, speaking of the Shire, somebody literally put that meme up, and it's been circulating, the one with the hobbits, and they ask Aragorn if they can have second breakfast. So the meme is, you know, what about lockdown? And then Aragorn, or the government says, we've already had a lockdown. And then the hobbits, you know, the socially awkward people, socially anxious people are saying, well, we've had one lockdown, yes. So what about a second lockdown? So yes, the Shire and metropolitan Melbourne has been locked down again. It's actually, technically it's not. It starts in about 4 hours, but yeah, it's essentially, for all intents and purposes, yeah, we've gone into it again for another 6 weeks.
Oh, nice. So
I don't think they know about second lockdowns. Diana has clearly watched all the 11s. Diana has watched all the Lord of the Rings, I'm assuming.
Over and over again, all the time. Right, so yeah, it's been a bit crazy with all of that, and I know that you're a public speaker and you've done a few talks elsewhere, and you do them constantly. I'm not going to say constantly, but probably.
Quite a bit, yeah.
It's a big part of your job.
Yep.
How have you found it not doing that, and have you found alternatives to doing that?
It's really weird because, like, obviously we don't have to travel, and I do like traveling. It's fun to go and like meet people IRL. But I've actually been doing more speaking than before. I mean, as I was saying to people just before we went into lockdown, people say, "Oh, what are we gonna do about this?" You know, I was saying to my friends who do streaming and like online content like this, I was like, "This is our time to shine," and you've probably noticed it. But as I said, like, you know, we hosted GitHub Satellite earlier this year. I got called on to be one of the hosts. You know, I'm speaking at DevRelCon Earth now. It was meant to be DevRelCon Tokyo, but now it's DevRelCon Earth. Speaking at that next week. I've done speaking events all over the place, and the part of the reason for that is, yes, I have the experience in, like, you know, talking to an empty room or an empty camera, but also we don't have the time zone constrictions. So like my boss Martin, who many of the live coders do know, like he sent me a message one day, or actually I think he also tweeted it. Was like, oh, I just did a talk in Australia, then I did a talk in London, then I spoke in some other random place, then I sat down for breakfast with my kids. And I was like, you know, you can't do that not in ISO. I mean, so we've kind of like reinvented ways of like, how do you do the same thing and like translate it to the digital? Now, obviously, not all the things are going to translate. Obviously, one of the main reasons many of us like going to conferences is to catch up IRL with all those people who we don't get to catch up with. I know Fritz is very, you know, sad face about all live coders not being able to catch up at, like, you know, TwitchCon or other, you know, dev cons, and, you know, all wear our jerseys together and get team photos and hand out cool stuff. But, you know, we find other ways of doing things, and, you know, I am definitely looking forward to getting back out there IRL. But in the meantime, it's like we do what we can to bring as much, or to translate as much content over to the digital realm, so that people still have things to look forward to while they're in lockdown or ISO.
Yes. Yeah, I've been speaking to Martin actually recently, and AJ.
Yes.
Is he on your team or with?
Yes, both Martin. So Martin's my boss, and AJ is one of my teammates.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, we're doing something with you apparently.
Yes, we are.
Apparently, don't know. So yeah, that and this is the thing. I think with what expertise we've had in sort of doing that broadcasting of coding, we did Live Coders Conference 1 and 2 now. Mm-hmm. We worked on Dev Around the Sun as well, which I believe you spoke at that one.
No, I spoke at Build, but yes, I was.
I know you did Build.
Yeah, right. That's right. I mean, like you said, like the team broadly has been quite involved in many of the large dev conferences that have come up, and yeah, it's been really exciting.
And I think that's really exciting, and I think it brings the team out. And when you mention the live coders to people now that are in completely different companies, have nothing to do with Twitch, and then you go, "Oh yeah, you're that team on Twitch, aren't you?" And it's like, yes. Very strange that you know that, but yes.
Yes, that is what we are. We're a cult. No, we're not. We're a community. Community.
I didn't realise we were a cult. Damn, I'm gonna have to talk to Fritz.
Well, if we tell Fritz it's a cult, then he's obviously steering the ship. So.
Yeah. Oh dear. Right. On that note. It's a short interview. We've done what we needed. Thank you very much for joining us, and I'll let you get off and do your usual day stream.
Cool. Is there any other questions that we had from the chat or anything like that?
Exactly. I was just about to go across the chat, and any other questions, folks?
There's a couple there. Is there anyone in the live coders that doesn't like Lego? I'm gonna say no, and if there are, we will find them and kick them out of the team.
No, we'll nurture them to like Lego.
We will nurture them and show them the ways of Lego.
That's correct. There's no booting here.
No, I'm just like scanning. Everyone's like, how rude. No, we won't do that. I'm just like scanning for like question marks. Yeah, transmits the screen. How do you grow your stream? We can touch on that, but also I love Diana's question about what has been my worst Quidditch injury.
You've had Quidditch injuries?
Oh yeah, definitely. So if anyone doesn't know Quidditch, again, look it up. It's quite fun, but it is the only one that I know of anyway, the only full contact mixed gender sport.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that idea.
So I've had quite a few injuries. Again, you can probably tell by my personality, I'm not one of those people that kind of holds back, kind of like just go in,
Dive
everything.
In, do it.
Yeah, I've knocked out my 2 front teeth. I've dislocated my shoulder, concussions, and from hospital a couple of times. Yeah, some crazy.
Just standard
crazy
then.
Stuff.
Standard.
Just standard thing. I mean, if you know me, it's pretty standard.
Well, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you for joining me today and taking the time to talk. Even if it just talk about anything, that's the whole point, isn't it? Really.
Totally.
And
that's right.
We get to learn a bit more about each of the live coders and where they're from.
100%. And I was going to say too, if anyone does want to continue the conversation or ask any more questions, I'll be live on my stream in about half an hour-ish. Feel free to come on over. It doesn't matter if I'm playing a game. I'm nearly always happy to answer questions. You'll often find us like deep in a game of like Overwatch or Fortnite or Valorant or something,
or
and
Elder
at the
Scrolls.
exact same time we're giving people advice on how to get a job or like how you don't need to go to university to be successful, and like, you know, we're just sitting there like killing people at the same time as being like, yes, it's really important to do these things when you go for a job interview. So yeah, 100%, anyone's welcome. Yeah, we'll be over there in about 25 half an hour, so feel free to any questions that didn't get answered, feel free. And again, thank you, lucky number 7, for having me here today, and everyone for being here as well. Really enjoyed the opportunity.
So it's MishManners on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram as well?
Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube,
Steam,
TikTok, although I don't use TikTok. I just grab the name just in case. Just in case it somehow takes off. And also, importantly, GitHub. So yeah, you can find me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The GitHub is the most important one, obviously. Right, thank you very much, and we will speak to you later on. Bye for now.
Thank you again for having me. Bye, everyone.
So, thank you very much. That was an awesome little talk. Great. I just so much energy and so much stuff that she does is just crazy, and makes me feel like I should do more, which is very strange. So, should we go and actually see if there's any live coders live? Because that could be interesting. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. It's been fantastic as always. We won't raid Copperbeardy because he starts work soon, so he won't be going. Let's go with really mundane. Right. I think it's Riley Mundane, but it just comes out a bit like that. More Melbourne interviews. Yeah, we'll try that, David. Yeah, but Copperbeard, he does. It would have been a good choice, but I know he has short streams in the morning because he goes and starts work. So on that note, thank you very much, everyone. We will raid, and bye for now. Buttons.